Next to Romania, where voting has begun in the final round of a tense presidential election that could reshape the country's future. The race pits far-right nationalist George Simion, a Eurosceptic and self-described Trumpist, against Nicu Cerdan, the pro-EU mayor of the capital Bucharest. It is a redo of last year's vote that was won by a far-right ally of Simion, but annulled over allegations of interference. The outcome could reshape Romania's relationship with both the EU and neighboring Ukraine, and all of Europe, of course, is closely watching. For more, we can cross now to our correspondent, Maria Gerth-Niculescu, who's in the Romanian capital. Maria, voting has been underway for a couple hours now. Tell us, what's the latest? How's it going so far?
Well, I'm in a polling station in the capital, Bucharest, where voting has started at 7 a.m. Local time this morning. So far, things are relatively calm, but voting started in the diaspora on Thursday evening already for some countries, on Friday morning for Western Europe, for example, France, Italy, where there are a lot of Romanians living abroad. And what we've seen so far with the past days of voting in the diaspora is a very high voter turnout, higher than what we've seen for the first round two weeks ago. And what this shows is that Romanians are living a historic moment. They're conscious of the stakes of this elections. It's two ideological viewpoints, two views of Europe, two views of what patriotism means that are opposing themselves. George Simion had a 20% advance over Nicu Cerdan in the first round, but the gap has been slowly closing, as we've seen in the recent polls, with both candidates being very close to each other in terms of polls. We'll have to see the final result, including the diaspora, because the diaspora has massively voted for George Simion last time, and we'll have the first exit polls at 9 p.m. local time today.
All right, so a high turnout so far, as you said, indicative of the high stakes in this election. Can you talk a little bit about more about what have been the main concerns for Romanian voters?
Well, several topics were mentioned over the campaign, including during the debates that have happened between the two candidates, as well as on social media. George Simion has mainly campaigned on social media and in the diaspora, with visits to France, to the UK, and to Italy. Among the main topics, we have, of course, what change Romanians want in terms of their economy. Both candidates presenting themselves as being against anti-system, against the system, against the political class that is seen as corrupt and that has dominated Romania's political scene over the past over 30 years. So a lot of talk about the economy, development, fighting corruption. George Simion says that he wants to bring the diaspora back home. A lot of Romanians have emigrated because of lack of jobs, lack of economic opportunities, but as the country is developing, a lot of them are considering to move back to Romania. Nicu Cerdan, on the other hand, is saying that Romania has made a lot of progress. He wants to continue the country's pro-Western, pro-European path. He's quite aligned with the politics and the values promoted in Brussels. That brings us to the second main topic of this campaign, which is Romania's position in the world, in Europe. George Simion is very critical of Brussels. Also wants Romania to stop providing aid to Ukraine. He's very aligned with the MAGA politics of Donald Trump, while Nicu Cerdan is seen more as a center-right candidate, a liberal candidate aligned with Brussels and the European Union.
All right, we'll be keeping a close eye of who comes out the winner of that election. Thank you so much, Maria, for that update. We'll be crossing to you, I'm sure, throughout the day. That's our correspondent, Maria Gerth-Niculescu, reporting there from Bucharest.